All right, fact versus fiction, debunking unsupported claims. Yes, we love to do that here on the 208. And boy, do we have an easy one for you today. If you haven't been on social media, this is a good one. Making the rounds in Idaho politics is this tweet. Let's take a look. This is PBS NewsHour. Yes, the actual official account, not some Elon-verse fake account. But NewsHour tweeted, quote, Republican Phil McGrane, who has fueled doubts about the result of the 2020 presidential election, will become Idaho's next Secretary of State, the Associated Press reports. Okay, so you see the big red X on your screen. Almost none of the information in that tweet is true, not even close. So yes, Phil McGrane did win the Secretary of State spot on Tuesday by a very wide margin. But how about this line about McGrane saying that he's fueled doubts about the results of the 2020 presidential election? It's untrue, and frankly, PBS should be embarrassed that this tweet is still up 2 full days after the election. You, the viewer, has watched McGrane here on 7 for years, and he never went that direction of questioning the election or election integrity in 2020 at all, or pushing wild conspiracies. In fact, Idahoans supported McGrane in the May primary against candidates that did and do question the 2020 election. And I've got a few questions on this one today, and I couldn't tell you what happened with that tweet, but to be clear here, the AP never reported this either, that McGrane is an election denier. So why is this important? Well, the correct info being out there, it's crucial in this political climate. In NewsHour, they might have found that out if they called anyone in Idaho about the Secretary of State race. Now, PBS did send an update tweet saying this. A short time ago, they say, quote, we did not label Mr. McGrane as an election denier, but categorized him as, quote, fueling doubts or concerns since his public statements have left room for and may have stoked doubts about the election. So it's not an opinion, I think, or even bold to say that this is a bad double down and still untrue. Fueling doubts, yeah, feel free to watch any of the interviews we've done with Mr. McGrane ever here on 7. Or even better, here's a clip of Phil McGrane from earlier this year when he was on PBS locally and he was asked about the 2020 election and who was president.
Ryan, I think it's so interesting that you asked that question because it's a reflection of just where we are and so many of the current concerns that have come out of the 2020 election. Joe Biden was elected president during that election, but one of the things I've seen and experienced as I've traveled around the state is the concerns that Idaho voters have. I think when most Idahoans reflect on their voting experience and heading to the polls and the poll workers there checking them in, they feel confident about their elections locally. But when they look across the country, there are many concerns, even the reactions like we watched in Arizona in terms of how they handled the post-election process. But one of the big things I want to do as Secretary of State is make sure that Idahoans feel confident that when they drop their ballot in the ballot box, that your vote will count, and that your vote will count just the same as anyone else, and that no one is tampering with our elections. We have a great election system here in the state, and I'm going to do everything I can to continue to ensure that well into the future.
So why does all of this matter? It's just a tweet, right? Well, as you've heard Phil say, elections matter, and trusting them is crucial too. So tweeting out that the leader of all Idaho elections fueled doubt about something so divisive, yeah, miss us on that one.